Hey, thank you, Michael. So if anyone has any questions or comments, I will spotlight you. Yeah, Heidi.
Hi, Mike's. My question is, you said that if somebody has a violent death, that they fragment and they don't reincarnate. Is that true? Is that what I heard you say?
No, no, they the fragments do reincarnate, but they don't leave the Earth sphere. And this is borne out by the research. There are books on scientific studies of reincarnation. They're trying to prove it, and they find these people who have memories of an exact address and name and everything, and they go and they find you know, that house exists and that family exists, and this person died. And they're saying, well, this is proof of reincarnation. But what's actually happened, if you study more deeply those scientific studies, every one of those cases is a violent death. Okay. And what's happened is that those are fragments at that moment that the person died suddenly and violently. They did not have time to integrate. And so the fragment of that memory of that death is put into another soul that's coming in. So that is uh, organ spirit reincarnation rather than soul
Got
reincarnation.
it.
That was the point I was trying to make.
Okay, and you don't have to go on too long about this, but I want to say that after Finn died, you said you didn't find any soul fragments of Finn's that had been fractured out. And so I just wondered if this was like in a different category for some reason.
Yes. According to my information, and I investigated this, and also Steve also checked it out, and he said he could not find any ghost or soul fragment. Um, that was Finn's death was orchestrated by Finn's oversoul,
Okay.
not and so there was no everything was we'll say it was cosmically harmonized instantly. It was not
Okay.
uh, it was not like a personality decision that happened. It
Right.
was really he was overshadowed.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Anyone else an experience or a question?
Anybody want to share what you felt from when you spin the pyramids?
Yeah, Bruce. You need to unmute yourself.
There we go. There we go. I just wanted to, Michael, thank you. It's been a lot of years, and both your brothers were teachers to me in very different ways. Peter and they both we shared unique things that with their passing, I really reflected on those experiences that were influential times for us all. But within my world, my friends, they were both very, very, very special people in my life. And I feel a little remiss for not staying in better touch, but that doesn't negate the magic of what we shared when we did. I see you smiling. I think you understand what I mean. And I wanted to thank you for sharing your experience. And I look forward to visiting more downstream, so to speak. Thanks for sharing your experience.
Beautiful. I hope it was valuable for you.
Thank you, Bruce. Anyone else like to share?
Robin, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I definitely met David. 100% met David. Uh it was amazing. I feel like I have complete access to him in a way I never I only had as an imagination before, but I felt like I had full presence and feels like there's a new beginning there. I don't know how to else to say it, but he definitely was 100% there, happy to see me. It was remarkable.
So I was during the memorial for David in New York City, I was opened up this portal and was really strongly, and kept it running, for another day or two after that. I was just really, and I just had an experience where David started to download into me some of his issues that he needed to complete, which is like grief for not, being around for his grandchildren or, his children as they grew up. So again, the flow comes through, you might receive some stuff that David wants you to help him with. Okay. Because the sooner he releases all those things, then he advances, on his path from where he is. So I'm just mentioning that. I had completely processed all my grief about David. I'm very good at processing grief. I've been through this with both parents and other friends and a past wife. And so I was completely, sure that I was like, I had finished my grieving over David, and then suddenly I got all these intense waves of grief, and then I checked, I realized they were actually his, and he was sharing those with me, you know. So by taking them in and processing them, and I helped him get some completion, I think. And you may have a completely different experience, but I'm just mentioning the possibility that there is a two-way exchange that is still going on.
Well, hang on. I was actually hoping to get some business advice from him. That's why I'm contacting him. He's fine. As far as I can tell, the guy is fine.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't have individual will in order to interact with you and say, yeah, here's what you should do. It's not, he's still in the collective realm of heaven. If once he becomes an immortal, then yes, he can give you advice. And he's in the realm of creating and co-creating other universes, and then, he can intervene here. But until he gets there,
We'll
it's
see.
mostly,
I'll keep you posted, Mike, and tell
okay,
you what I get.
let me know. But again, you may pull from him experiences in his business world in which he shares or replays with you that
Uh,
will give you the advice you want.
yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
we'll see. Right now, he's just beaming light. He's just full love, full just joy, just happy
Yeah,
to see me.
that's his reality, his present moment reality. He's up there in the high heaven. That's why I said he's just sharing with you, like, his reality there. But to intervene down here in your reality, that's a different type of a level of will. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I had a very similar experience. I loved the meditation, Michael. I just, it was so like the gold and the purple. It just really took me into that neutral. Why I love the neutral channel. So thank you for that. And David came in very easily, it was lovely. He just there and I was there, and he felt the quality was he was just at ease. He had so much relaxation in his being. And I felt like he had full access. I had those similar questions. Like, okay, David, spill the beans here. But he had like this, his wisdom was just very available and relaxed. So it was wonderful to meet him here. And and then
Wonderful.
he had a slight, I was like, well, is there any, do you want to say anything? And he seemed like something came through. He didn't want uh Julie to worry. That's what came through. So I don't know what that was, but you know,
Yeah, but that was a pattern he had while still here on Earth.
uh,
Okay.
but it was so
And
full of
and,
compassion.
and that could be just like, something he wanted to share. Again, it's possible for you to know him in more intimate ways now than you knew him here on
That's what I
Earth.
felt. Yeah, that's what I felt. It was
Because
so
again,
intimate.
his whole life is there on a recording, and you can like go through all those files and then say, okay, well, let's play that, let's do that one. And you get all his wisdom and his experiences and his, his whatever, that he gathered from his lifetime here.
Mhm.
And it's now available to you in a way that, you only had slices of that and moments of that when you interacted with him here in the physical plane.
Right.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
Yeah. And again, try putting yourself in the center of this thing here and just see what happens. You'll get into deeper levels of who you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel that possibility, really.
I mean, this is a very intense practice when you get these hurricanes spending like this, man. You are really like, these are super high speed blenders and they're chopping up kind of your resistance and your fixity, okay, which is part of our personality. We develop, as we age, we get all these patterns and we start to get a little bit rigid and a little bit fixed in our thinking and our ways, and this just chops all that up, and now you're kind of like naked and open to this heaven and earth vortex is coming through, and so it's just like can open up all types of new levels of creativity, of insight into yourself, and I believe that there's great benefits to physical longevity. Okay. The being who taught me this claims that he lived on Earth for 2,300 years. Wow.
We're going to need David's advice on how to make money then.
This is more valuable than money.
Or some
Okay.
gold, Mike, some gold. Let's bring some gold.
We're
Oh.
going to need some cash for that 2,300.
Gold, yes, gold and amethyst, jewels and gold will be coming to you. That's right.
Heidi, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit of my experience. I, in comparison to you, Michael, and Robin and Yarrow, probably Stephen, probably Jerry, I don't have the facility with meditation and to be able to differentiate. But what came in my green pearl were Peter and David and Finn and Maddie. All four of them were in that pearl, and it went big. I sort of focused on Finn a little bit more because that's, the child that I had the most interaction with. And one sliver from Finn being 3 or 4 came up, but the rest with David, Peter, Maddie, and the rest of Finn, it was all very neutral. I felt the energy, but not the personality at all. And I didn't feel anything. I didn't have the light that Robin and Yarrow talk about, but I had them in there. So I just wanted to share that.
So thank you for sharing that. And just know you just did this for like a couple of minutes, like it's baby shoes. Okay. You keep doing this thing and all kinds of new things can come through. You'll develop focus. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can say, well, I would just want to focus on Finn. Okay. Who was it, what, age 13 or 12 when she died?
14 when he died.
Yeah.
He died. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, as you do this practice, you get more focus. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a training device as well as teaching you how to focus your internal will.
Yeah.
And
I felt myself go very deep. I didn't want to come out. I could have gone longer and stayed. I was feeling it. So
yeah. No, listen, I've been doing this thing for decades. Okay. Like that's why I say you see me twerking around. I get huge, super bolts, lightning bolts of energy and stuff coming in. So the more you open it up, and I'm hearing all types of tones and frequencies and things like that. So the more you do it, it's just you build up more neutral force, you build up more power to concentrate. And I think it'll make your earthly life and your transition to a heavenly life later, much, much easier. Okay.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Michael. It was incredible.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really glad to share it with you, and I hope you have a great journey with it.
Okay, anyone else?
Oops.
Stephen, you can just talk through Jerry's audio. No, we can't hear you. You have to unmute Jerry to do that.
There, do it now. There you go.
Yep, you're good, Stephen. Oh, nope.
Jerry went mute.
Jerry's muted again.
Okay, let that be. Can you guys
That's
hear?
okay. There
All right.
we get you.
Let it go. Just let it go. Don't worry about anything. So anyway, thanks, Michael. It's it's really nice that you did that. It's really, really nice. Unfortunately, I was too fatigued to do that properly. So I started spinning that gold and I just sort of like fell asleep. So all the same, it was also a very deep experience. So, but I'll tell you technically one thing is that those symbols at the beginning, you need to turn your original sound for musicians on. And then we can hear those sounds. That's
How
why
do I do that? How do you turn on sound for musicians?
depending on your computer and your system, you'll get that option down probably on your audio down there where you have the unmute little arrow going up from a mute.
It's a Zoom link,
Okay.
Zoom link thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Audio settings.
because
It's a really super high frequency and it just didn't record. You know, my voice recorded.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
The Zoom is really good at filtering out background noises,
yeah.
and that treats it as a background noise.
Okay.
And that half decibel or half a pitch sound differential is of course that's the foundation of holosync, which they have you playing all those sounds like that.
Oh yeah, this has all been invented hundreds of years ago, though. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I got, Michael, I've got maybe I'm just getting a little review because I missed some of the steps. I've got a gold pyramid spinning clockwise. I've got a amethyst pyramid spinning counterclockwise, and on top of each other. And that green pearl, that's where I missed.
It's in between the two. Yeah.
It's just between the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just watch the video again. I'll give you I'll send you the YouTube link and you can, go through it again. Now, let me just tell you something. People often space out while learning this, okay? And they blame it on sleep, that they're fatigued. Okay. I hear the story all the time. All right. But in fact, were you really at the beginning of this thing about to fall asleep?
Yeah.
No, I bet
Yes.
you weren't.
Yes, I was.
You were really that tired
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock in the afternoon where you were that you were just going to fall asleep?
Well, I was falling asleep before you started talking about the pyramids.
Well, wait a minute. I'm talking about before the video started, before the whole thing started. Were you falling asleep?
I've been sleeping all day long.
So you already had a lot of rest. Here's what I want to say to you. Okay. It's very common. Once people start tuning into this thing and they actually start, and you've done a lot of meditation, I think you just tuned into a lot of neutral force. Okay. And the personality, the left brain and the right brain interprets increased neutral force as a realm that's similar to sleep. And so they think they're in a dream state because there's no polarity for them to attach onto like a normal physical sensory reality. And so at the beginning of my retreats, the first day or two, people were saying, "Oh, I'm falling asleep. I'm falling asleep." And then after like practicing the method for a couple of days, then they stay present. And the personality learns, "Oh, we're not actually falling asleep. It's actually just neutral force, and we're now accepting that as part of us." So that's very possible, I think. That's a factor here, even though you may have had some fatigue. But if you really had rest all day long, then you weren't that fatigued. Okay. I think you just are very sensitive. You've done decades of meditation and you just tune into the neutral force right away. And then it's just like, it just wiped out your left brain and right brain. So they just go, "Oh, we're asleep."
It could be.
Practice it and you'll see. Yeah. Just watch the video again and you'll see the next time that it's easier to stay present. I bet. But, do it sometime after you've had a good night's rest too.
Sure.
I can still feel it turning in me.
Of course. I told you can go 24/7. You don't have to stop this. This will just keep going. That's your option. If it's distracting, then you have to stop it. But if you can handle the outer reality and this intense opening of your inner reality, your core channel, then just let it happen.
Okay, anyone else who hasn't spoken like to say anything?
I fell asleep too, but I interpreted that what Michael was saying, that it was not a regular sleep, and uh, I I feel very refreshed, and I was thinking, oh, I need to do that again, and I won't fall asleep after a few times because it happened in other cases where that kind of uh, experience happens, and so I'm glad you said that, Michael, because it makes me feel okay.
Yeah.
That's it was
Don't
a
judge-
different experience than just sleep.
yeah. It's important not to judge yourself as like, oh, I fell asleep in it and therefore I failed, I didn't do it well. It actually means that you were doing it very well and you got a lot of neutral force, but you just haven't learned yet how to digest that. That's all. And
Yeah.
keep that as part of your polarized personality because again, we're like 99% polarized here. Okay. I mean,
Mhm.
I measure just as a point of interest, in case you're interested. Um, you know, people who uh, I measure people by their level of enlightenment going all the way into levels of immortality. I just measure them by what percent of neutral force can they handle. Okay. And so when you get to be 5% neutral instead of like 1%, like, that's that's you're having enlightenment experiences. But when you get up to 10%, okay, 15 or 20%, then you're really channeling in and opening up and getting all kinds of stuff coming through you. Okay. And interestingly, um, you see pregnancy, the soul coming in here opens that portal up also. And this is one reason why women, I think love having children is because they're in this very altered state and they go up to like 10% neutral. And normally that starts over the next couple of years, it starts, going down just because they don't have a way to sustain it and keep it. But children will hold neutral force, up to 10% until like the age of 7 or 8. Okay. And then it's gradually is polarizing out as they become adults and they learn how to get more and more polarized. That they slowly go back down to 1% unless they are doing some type of spiritual practice. That's my observation anyway.
Okay, before we come to a close, looks like Chris jumped off before he had to say anything. Jerry, you don't have to say anything, but if you want to, there's definitely space. Oh, here comes Chris. So we're leaving it open to Chris and Jerry. If either of you have anything you'd like to share, you're welcome to and not obliged. Chris, you're muted.
Pardon me?
Chris is going to say something. Hang on one second, Jerry.
I have nothing to say except it was very sweet.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's Chris now.
Chris.
There I am. There I am. I came in late, so I didn't catch the first part. Sorry about that. I lost track of time, so I'll have to watch the rerun. But
What
Mike, you have a great voice for meditating.
what time? What space? At what point did you come in, Chris?
Um, I think you had just started talking about hurricanes, and I know
Oh,
I was there a little bit earlier, and then I lost the signal, and then I came back in, and that's the part, and because I get these earbuds that every time they don't fit very well, so I try to twist them in, and all of a sudden I hit the button and they turn off, and I get kicked out.
yeah, I recommend just
So
removing the ears. That'll make it much easier. It'll be a full-time hearing. Now just watch the YouTube release. So we'll have it up there shortly.
all right, that sounds good.
And yes, yeah, I'd love to get your response then after you have a chance to watch the whole thing.
All right.
Well, beautiful. Well, thank you all for sharing. Thank you for coming.
Oh,
You know,
Bruce has his hand up.
oh, let's go. Bruce again.
Oh, I'm just going to be really brief and thank you all for letting me share this experience with you, and in a small way honor the brothers. So, Michael, thank you for the invite. Very nice. Thanks.
Thank you, Bruce.
Great to see you again, Bruce. It's been a few decades since we were down there in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, listen, it's just a journey. We're all in it together. And I hope this supports your journey. Divine love flowing through all of us in heaven, on earth. It's all like one big circuit. And, you know, it's just important to keep that flow open and stay centered and grounded in that. And then the journey will be a really deep feeling of completion. And that really benefits the whole heaven earth experiment, heaven earth humanity experiment. So thank you all for supporting that flow and that process.
Thank you, Michael.